A brand new update is out now for all Minecraft Bedrock platforms, and it's called 1.20.30. Included in it are 10 brand new features, a whole bunch of bug fixes, and even some experimental villager changes if you choose to turn them on. However, you might be curious as to what exactly is in this 1.2.3 update, and to explain it briefly, 1.20 is a major update, 1.20.3 would of course be a bug fix update, and 1.20.30 is something exclusive to Bedrock, which are these medium monthly updates. Minecraft Bedrock tries to update almost every single month, and this means there are a bunch of features which get added to them which don't necessarily need to wait for the next major update, and so 1.20.30 has quite a few of those, some really exciting ones actually, including this cherry sampling, which came from a wandering trader. It's like Christmas, but for Superflat players. Today is a very exciting day because I'm going to be showing you all of the things in this update, the ones you should particularly care about, and I hope you enjoy it. Please do like this video if so, to consider subscribing to the channel if you like your Minecraft Bedrock news, and let's jump into the first of the 10 major features because the player sleeping percentage game rule was added. This is really handy for multiplayer games because imagine you're playing a game and you need to go to sleep, but there is more than one of you in the world. Right now the dilemma is everyone in the game, all two of you in this case, has to go to sleep, which can be really frustrating if one of you is in the mine and literally cannot have access to a bed. The person who's not in a mine has to just suffer through the entire night. The game rule player sleeping percentage means that you can just go in here quite simply and you can set that to say 50, and now only one of you needs to go to sleep for you to be able to pass through the night. I can sleep through the night, or Harrison can sleep through the night, or even more fun, we can set this to 1, and it can make it so no matter how many players there are in your game, anyone will be able to sleep through the night by themselves. What you could also do though, which is fun and is a kind of a side effect of this, is you can set the value to 101 and higher. What this means is 101% of people in the game need to go to sleep. In other words, it's not possible, and so there is this brand new message saying no amount of rest can pass this night, even though both me and Harrison are in beds, which is a really fun way of turning off sleep in your Minecraft world. I think it's really fun at least. What I also think is really fun though is the second brand new feature, which is recipe unlocking. So now this is technically toggleable, but it's toggled by default and most players will have it. It is a brand new thing which happens when you gather the new respective ingredients for a recipe. A little pop-up will show up and indicate what you've just unlocked, and it also applies to when you jump in water for a boat, and it also applies to all sorts of other recipes for smelting and stone cutting, and it's a really fun way to learn about the game in more of a tutorial way. What a wonderful feature this is for new players. If you already know stuff though, you might be more interested in the third feature, which is block breaking times. This is much more aimed at long-term players. Lots of block breaking times and blast resistance effects have been updated, so you'll notice TNT is slightly more or less powerful, and you'll also notice your pickaxe breaks some blocks slightly faster or slower. One of the biggest examples of this to me has to be the scaffolding. So the scaffold has gone from having a very quick time to having an instant break time. You can now break scaffolding instantly regardless of your tool. Shulker boxes, bells, and campfires also have their whole own set of changes, so keep in mind that you will be mining some blocks slightly differently. It's not just you going crazy, it is in fact part of the update. Speaking of being part of the update, this next one is kind of exciting to me because Minecraft has had snow layers for a while. However, they haven't fully worked on Bedrock in my opinion, and so let me show you something fun that we can do. These snow layers now will actually change up and down as we go through them. So this is real fun. I just tried to toggle my perspective, by the way, and it's giving me that error message, which means we have to go to camera, at S, and then we have to set it to set, and then third person, so that I can show you this from third person, because now each of these snow layers has its own hitbox bounding it. By the way, we'll explain that whole camera command thing because I was playing around with it earlier. It is a brand new feature for commands, which is very, very, very big, but yeah, for now you just need to know. Look at this. The snow doesn't have your legs randomly sinking into it. It actually goes up every time you go up, which is a very, very big deal. Now we have to set it to first person again. Again, this will all make sense in a little bit, but you know what doesn't make sense in a little bit? Okay, so there we go. First person camera. You know what doesn't make sense in a little bit? This crawling feature. This is being added for parity of Java, but it is a very weird one if you're not expecting it. So this used to be behind experimental features. Now it's for everyone. Now you can go into crawling, not just with water, but by closing a trapdoor onto yourself. So if I open this trapdoor while I'm in the block, it will force me down into a crawl, which is very exciting as you can see. If you look at the top left, you can see me crawling over there. And the other thing that makes this very exciting is the fact that you can obviously go crawling through little holes like this. And wow, look at that. There's a treat at the end. There's no treats, but subscribing to iBoxy Toy Cat is the real treat. You know, that's a fun message. Appreciate that a lot. But yeah, this is this is a very important major feature. Crawling is a big part of 1.20.30 that you can now appreciate. You know what? You can also appreciate the commands. So I've been playing around with a few of these commands, but there are 3 separate ones that you should know about. One of these is the /camera command. This is the most powerful command Minecraft has given us in forever. You can set your camera to do a few things. One of those is you can set it so it's got a particular player. So you can set the camera to be first person, or you can set it to be third person using these commands. That is wild you can do that, because you can't just do it for yourself, you can do it for everyone else in your world. I can set Harrison's camera to be first person or third person, but even wilder than that is you can also change what a camera sees. So you can set someone's camera, for example, so that if we set the camera for everyone in the game to fade, we can now make this blue show up on screen for everyone. So 1 red, 1 green, and then 255 blue will result in this happening to everyone in the game. What a weird thing you can do. See, Harrison saw it too. Look how blue he's gone already. I think this is a wild one, but also you could, using the /recipe command, you can take away other people's recipes. So this is powerful because you can not only give someone a recipe, like I could give Harrison the diamond, he's got all the diamond recipes. I could give him the recipe for a jukebox maybe, if he wants one. But what I could also do, oh, that's really weird. What I could also do for them is we can take away recipes, and the reason this is such a big deal is because obviously it means that hypothetically we can work out what recipes Harrison has to be taken away. So we'll take away Harrison's button acacia recipe ID. Now he can't, oh, he doesn't actually have it, but we can work out which recipes he has, and we can take away the ones that he doesn't, which seems really, really wild. Also, there is a brand new game rule, do limited crafting, which is a really, really, really interesting idea. You can set it up so people can only craft the things they have the recipes for. Very, very strange. Speaking of things that are strange, the 7th feature here is Suspicious Stewart. This is obviously his full name. It's a Nicholas name. It's when someone has a name for something which is affectionately longer than their regular one, and so Suspicious Stewart has been removed from the creative inventory. I feel like this makes sense when you think about it, because there are so many Suspicious Stews, and they all look exactly the same, so what was it doing in the creative inventory anyway? However, you might think that this is on parity with Java, but Java just added all of the Suspicious Stews to their creative menu, and they specifically labeled them. So we have a few parity changes in this update, and we have them specifically doing the opposite. They had this on both Java and Bedrock, and they've removed it from the Bedrock creative inventory while adding it to the Java one. Do the two, you know, I really do wonder sometimes, do the two teams talk to each other? Is this specific non-parity? Because they have, I feel like it's so rare that we have the games come into parity and then specifically have the other version remove it, but Suspicious Stew has officially done that. If you want Suspicious Stew and you're in creative and you don't want to do it the normal ways, you can technically type /give and then @s, and then you could give yourself Suspicious Stew, and then now I guess you could learn the commands to give the right effects. However, it's very, very, very confusing. So, oh look, I've got the recipe for it now. Is it always going to be poison if we do this? Let's find out. Yeah, so if you learn the, you can give people the effects for it, but it seems very, very strange. Speaking of very, very strange, the Wandering Trader is officially able to give you cherry saplings. This is something you can be very happy about if you play Super Flat, because let me show you something fun. This is a suspicious oh, that was weird. This is a Suspicious Trader. I'm calling everything suspicious now, apparently. This is my Wandering Trader, and he now has a brand new and suspicious trade. We can keep trading for these endlessly, but just to show you what it looks like, you can now trade for those cherry samplings. This was a Java feature they forgot to add to Bedrock, or maybe it just went missing somewhere. It's very nice to see it added, just like how it's nice to see them add villagers, zombie, and witcher changes. So obviously, there's quite a few of these. Let's go through them one by one. One of these is that upon death, villagers no longer drop what they're holding. And so, for example, if you had a villager out in the fields harvesting some wheat, so he's obviously unemployed. If we had a villager out in the field harvesting some, they're all green villagers. There we go. If you had a villager harvesting some wheat and you killed him, you would be able to get his seeds that they were trying to plant. No longer is that possible. Also, the discount from curing villagers is no longer multiplied when curing them effectively over and over again. So yeah, if you try to do it over and over repeatedly, it's not going to work. Also, zombie villagers now show their profession rank on their texture. This is a big deal. Also, right now, This armorer that just walked away from me, he is a level 1 armorer, but if he was level 5, we'd be able to see that on his zombie villager thing. Also, by the way, something that's a big deal is when you're in a raid, witches will throw healing and regeneration potions at mobs who are part of the raid. Basically, this is a buff to raids. They will, witches will help out of the raid, making them stronger in a very interesting way. Next up here, the 10th feature is falling blocks. Falling blocks like sand, gravel, anvils will now break when falling onto cocoa beans or a boat. This is very interesting to hear. This is a line on the changelog at least. However, let me show you a couple of things. This is it falling onto cocoa beans, working as intended. This is it falling onto a boat. And as you can see, it doesn't actually break. It just seems to land in the boat. This has been fixed from before, where it used to kind of just sit there weirdly. However, it's very, very odd that you can still do a thing that is officially one of the features on this update. So, yeah, maybe I'm missing how this works, but I'm still sitting in this boat that has sand and an anvil in it. Is that meant to work? You tell me. Speaking of things you can tell me, the experimental features and changes are enabled by going to this toggle in obviously your settings, and it's a very, very, very exciting thing because everyone knows how much we love these new villager changes. They are trying to make it so villagers will have different enchantments based on which place you trade with them from. So a librarian in a desert will only be able to give you an efficiency free book at his max level trade, and no other villager will trade efficiency free. The same for plains and protection and savannah and sharpness and snow and silk touch. I think these are very interesting changes to have. However, they are behind the experimental toggle, and I imagine Minecraft is going to experiment with them a lot more before they come to the game. So play around with this if you want to. I imagine I'll be doing something with that. But for now, just keep in mind that, like, yeah, this is experimental. It's fun and it's weak, and they do need to change a few more other things. But this is one of those experimental things. Also experimental is diamonds generating more frequently below Y0. Now we know why that is, by the way, because you need to trade that with the armorers to get their new stuff. Also, fence gates and item frames now have the same item texture as Java. Here is my fence gate. Do you like how it looks? It's the same as Java when it's in your hand, which is it's a small but required change. I like to see a bit of parity coming. There is a new play screen UI. This looks really, really odd to me. It's not enabled by default for everyone, but it's a fun one. They've improved the input response, and if you have a setting enabled, and vertical sync is now an option. These are found in the settings, so go to settings. Even though it's input response, so you might think it's in keyboard and mouse, it's actually found in video, and so right here you can see vertical sync, which is turned on by default for PCs, and there is also improved input response, which allows you to have just slightly snappier responses. I think this is a game changer. Harrison, who is here somewhere, he believes it helps him out a lot too, so if you're playing on a mouse and keyboard, you might appreciate having improved input responses. Also, the colors of terracotta, stained glass, and concrete powder are all in separate item IDs, so if you wanted to give someone in the world a red concrete, you can do it like that without having to go through the effort of working out the way you did it before was so insane. It was the way that you get Suspicious Stew right now, so it's much better. Also, pillager outposts can generate in Cherry Grove biomes. That's exciting. Skulk sensors can detect many more things. Entering and leaving water has the same sounds from Java. Also, the preview has a new app icon and a new logo and the title screen. Also, there is a marketplace feedback message you can leave. We can't work out where that is, but it has been on the changelog, so keep that in mind. If you see it, you now know it's new. You'll also know that all of these bug fixes are brand new too. The fawn sound effect is no longer missing, so imagine you have a fawn's chestplate on and something tries to shoot you or hit you, like this zombie. It's on peaceful, I think. That's why he didn't spawn. So imagine something tries to hurt you. In fact, you know, Harrison, you have to take the hit on this. You're gonna have to punch me, and oh, look at that. And wait, I guess because he's in creative, he's not taking the damage back. So I'll set him to survival at all. There we go. So now when he punches me and eventually gets the fawn's effect. Oh, it's my effect that's made. Oh, there we go. You hear that? One more time. Oh, it's so interesting. You can hear the fawns even when he's not being damaged. Absolutely fascinating. You know what else is absolutely fascinating? The fact that when you are, obviously skeletons and drowned have a sound when firing arrows and tridents. So this is a very interesting one to me that there wasn't one of these before, but listen to this. Do you hear that? The skeleton himself has a noise for throwing it, as well as the noise of the arrow itself. The same is true for drowns with their tridents. Also, it's worth noting, if it was thundering, let's say, which I think it's always a nice weather condition, and we had a trident, let's say, as indeed we do, so let's just quickly clear out the inventory. So imagine if we had this and we were to strike it, then the channeling sound effect will have a real noise like so. Whoa, that was intense. That was seriously intense. You know what, I'm gonna have to try this on Harrison, see if it works the same. Whoa, that is so much more intense than we have right now. Harrison does not like it. I'm very sorry. Didn't intend to do that to you. Speaking of things I didn't intend to do, opening new maps have a new sound effect. So, as you can see, I opened the locator map. Wait, I didn't hear that. Let's try that again quieter. Oh, it's got that little scribbling sound like you're drawing on it. Very, very fun. Let's turn that thunder off right now. Let's set it to day and let's set the thunder off. And then let's show you something else that's fun. If you break the obsidian frame of a lit nether portal, you can hear the glass breaking sound, which you're meant to be able to hear because the frame itself is being shattered. So if I mine this, by the way, as you'll see, when it goes all the way through, oh, look at that. Yeah, glass breaking sound, because the portal breaking sound is glass for some reason. It's a bit weird, but it is a Java feature they decided to move over. Also, conduits will make a sound when deactivated, so we'll mine, we'll mine some of the prismarine around this, for example, and eventually we'll hear the conduit go and be broken. Wait, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Can you hear it yet? There is a surprising amount of prismarine here. But as you can see, when we eventually get to that crucial, critical load where the conduit decides to break, it will make a noise. Wait, did it make a noise? Okay, it's on. It's off. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. Not sure that I heard that one. But there is meant to be a noise for it. There's also meant to be a noise for the respawn anchor. They said they fixed the ambient sounds no longer being missing. However, look at this. This is a respawn anchor. I'm in a very quiet place right now, and yet, can you hear it? Seriously. Can you hear anything? I hear nothing. There are no noises. I'll stand on it now. Do you hear any sounds? I think this is one of those bug fixes that they might have erroneously added. Also, by the way, entering flight in creative mode now cancels elytra gliding. Oh god, if you are a creative player, you know about this pain. The elytra has been so broken for a while now. It is such a joy to see that fixed. Also, transparent blocks viewed through an end portal that's on a chunk border will no longer flicker. They are now not visible through the end portal blocks. Thrown splash potions no longer throw backwards when looking up. This is a big one. Oh my god, I'm sure anyone who's used a splash potion has been confused as to why you throw it in the air and it goes behind you. Now it lands perfectly on your head. It's wonderful. If I want to throw it at Harrison, I throw it up and, oh, that works too, I guess. But yeah, it's very, 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 very handy, especially for throwing it at yourself in a group. Also, by the way, pink petals can be fertilized using bone meal from a dispenser. So to show you this one, I'll place one of those down, and then we'll bone meal them up to full. Look how nice that is. We can now basically make a pink petal farm if we want to. What we can also do is shulker boxes, mining by hand, without taking forever to break. I really can't get over that. What a lovely change that is. Speaking of lovely changes, the bubble meter now replenishes water when the player's head is above the surface. It previously had to be looking up. Please don't kill me, creeper. But as you can see, it used to have to do this, but now I can look over to the side and it works just great too. By the way, I am schwimmen mit den großen Lachsen. If you know your German, then you know the Bedrock players can really appreciate that while they're doing this. Speaking of things that you can appreciate, the shield has a sound when equipped in... Thank you to our lovely German translator. The gross salmon. It's been too long since I learned German. By the way, shield only has a sound when equipped into the offhand. This is a really, really fun one. So as you can see, that is a shield. Lovely little sound. I don't know if I heard that actually. By the way, speaking of things I didn't hear, we need to desperately go ahead and just switch this back to peaceful. Do you see that, by the way? The spider just knocked me this high up into the air. Slow falling and elytras combined together do some really weird things. So, yeah, rabbits and polar bears no longer levitate above snow layers. This is a fun one to see. It's the same thing about snow layers having their bounding boxes fixed. It was especially broken with these two mobs. Also, third-person camera now passes through glass and iron bars. Wait, is that true? Oh. Well, you have to imagine that it's true because my perspective is broken. Also, clicking a mob to ride it whilst in sneak/crawl mode will force the player out of sneak/crawl. So if I'm sneaking over here, which I will do, and then I try to get on the camel, I will no longer be sneaking, which is something that was broken for a little bit. Anyway, this is a very dark and rainy episode of the update explained, but I hope you enjoyed this one. This was a whole world that we put together specifically for this so that we could have this video out as soon as possible. I hope that you have appreciated that. If you have, make sure to say thank you to Harrison. He put together the world very nicely right here. This is something that does take a lot more effort for update videos, but But I hope that you enjoy it nonetheless. What emote gives you the feeling silly? Whatever. I hope that you enjoyed it. If so, say thank you to Harrison in the comments down below. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the update videos. I'll let you know what's going on with 1.20.40, which is in beta right now, and more importantly, 1.21 as we learn more about that. I am very curious, and maybe you should be curious too. If so, you might like to hear about my predictions, which are coming out very shortly. So for now, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, because I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Wait, let's do a silly emote together. Goodbye.